Hi guys, welcome back. Abhishek here. So sorry for the delay. I've not made a lot of videos recently because of my health and travel and all that. But I'm gonna start being more regular from April, hopefully. All right. But anyway, today I'm gonna share something with you. So my topic here today is how to draw perfect support and resistance lines. ठीक है? Technical analysis में it's very important to understand कि हम कहाँ कैसे लाइंस बनाएं और कहाँ पे ट्रेडिंग अपॉर्चुनिटीज ढूंढें. तो उसके लिए आई हैव चोजन द बेस्ट थिंग टुडे, निफ्टी एंड बैंक निफ्टी, सो दैट वी अंडरस्टैंड गिर भी रहे तो क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा बिकॉज ऑफ द वॉर, बिकॉज ऑफ द ऑयल. So let's try and go through it, and let me just talk through whenever I'm drawing lines, how do I do it. So first of all, I always start with a weekly chart. एक weekly chart खोल के हम पहले देखते हैं ट्रेंड कहाँ है. So if you're not using any moving averages, the best thing to do is draw a trend line. So this trend line starts from March 2020, which is the COVID fall के बाद वाला. So आप देख सके हो, I've got 3 touch points here, right? They are beautiful. This is Bank Nifty, by the way. Okay, so I'm just gonna make it thicker. This is an amazing trend line. So अगर आप देख सको, आज Friday 13th March है and Bank Nifty has just touched it. So there is a high probability we have a weekend कि next week gap up खुल जाए या यहाँ से support ले ले. क्योंकि अगर ये टूट जाता है, if this breaks, then this could really be disastrous for the entire index. Okay, so instead of कमेंटिंग और अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि भाई ये टूटेगा, प्रिडिक्टिंग के जगह हम रिएक्ट करेंगे. वी विल नॉट ट्राई एंड प्रिडिक्ट. सो व्हाट आई डू नेक्स्ट इज, वंस आई हैव अ मेजर ट्रेंड लाइन ड्रॉन एंड आई कैन सी लाइक ऑल माय सपोर्ट रेजिस्टेंस लाइंस आर ड्रॉन, देन आई गो टू अ डेली चार्ट. सो अगर हम डेली चार्ट में खोलते हैं, आई हैव गॉट सम गैप्स मार्क्ड हियर फ्रॉम अर्लियर. तो आप देख सकते हो कि I had this as my previous support zone. Okay, so I can probably make it properly. All right, and this broke down with a gap, came back to test it and then fell back. Right, जैसे मैंने बताया डेली में हमने ये बना रखा है. सो डेली में कभी कभी when I come here, I might have to थोड़ा सा इसको एडजस्ट करना पड़ता है to get the exact touch points. ठीक है, सो एज आई सेड इट इज राइट नाउ. हो सकता है कि आज सेकेंड हाफ में ये थोड़ा सा करेक्ट कर जाए, बिकॉज इफ आई कैन सी इट, एवरीवन एल्स कैन सी इट एज वेल, whoever follows technical analysis. And the second thing is that अगर आज नहीं तो if there is some good news in the weekend, then maybe Monday gap up खुल सकता है and you might get a little corrective move from here. Second is we draw all the horizontal lines that I can see here. So I can see this also, right, which makes a lot of sense. Look at this, right, from a previous high. This is support, support, support. So I can probably draw it a little lower also. ठीक है, touch point, touch point, touch point. Now it is coming to a confluence of both the lines. एक trend line है और एक ये line है. तो मैं इसका color एक बार black कर देता हूँ so that we can see this clearly, right? So it can come touch this 53,800 levels and then maybe turn around, maybe, as I said, corrects in the second half. That is also possible. Now ये तो है Bank Nifty, and you can do the same thing with any stock that you have. Any stock जो आपके पास है, आप ऐसे ही लाइंस बनाओगे. वीकली में जाओगे, पहले अपना एक मेजर ट्रेंड लाइन या कोई सपोर्ट रेजिस्टेंस है बना लो, फिर डेली में जाओ एंड देन यू फाइंड दीज लेवल्स, हॉरिजॉन्टल, स्ट्रेट हॉरिजॉन्टल लेवल्स. इन फैक्ट if I'll show it to you in Nifty also, to be honest. ठीक है, फिर हम फाइनली हम आर्ली चार्ट में जाते हैं. आर्ली चार्ट में हम एंट्रीज लेते हैं एंड हम गैप्स को बहुत यूज़ करते हैं. Alright, मैं गैप्स को बहुत यूज़ करता हूँ. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई हैव अ गैप डाउन हियर, ये गैप टेस्ट हुआ एंड देन दिस फेल. सो आई टेक ट्रेड्स हियर. आई टेक ट्रेड्स व्हेनेवर देयर इज अ गैप टेस्ट. ये एक बहुत बड़ा गैप था, ये टेस्ट करने आया था यहाँ पे एंड फेल. देयर इज अ गैप अप विच गॉट एग्जॉस्टेड, सो वी टेक ट्रेड्स देयर. देयर वाज अ gap down here which was tested, bearish engulfing, and today of course it opened gap down as well. So ये आपको बार बार देगा. In fact this test here is so cool. See, last touch point यहाँ पे था, अगर मैं इसको यहाँ बनाऊँ, that was a touch point here. So beautiful testing. So as long as you have your lines ready, you can take trades appropriately. Now of course I can go on to plot my CPR. So this is my weekly CPR. Let's plot the monthly CPR first. That's my monthly CPR, the CPR. This is my S1 broken, S2 jump, S2 broken and gone down, right? Now I'm gonna hide this and I'm gonna put on a weekly CPR. Now weekly CPR, same thing, S2 broken this week again, नीचे ही खुला S2 पे, ऊपर गया S1 पे, फिर S2 के नीचे गया. You could have taken a trade. Alright, but these of course I've already made videos on CPR, how to use them. I've already made a video on gaps and how to use them. So the best thing is to go through them. Go to my channel, just scroll through the videos. There are brilliant videos. Hopefully you'll like it. Right, now let's go back to the weekly chart and try and do it on the Nifty as well. So I'll open a Nifty ka chart, right? Same thing, I've got a resistance already drawn on the weekly chart. You see how beautiful that is. And of course, if you know double bottoms or double tops, you'll understand how beautiful that was, right? Okay, abhi again, similar to what I did with Bank Nifty, this is 2020 COVID ka fall ke baad. I'm going to try and draw my line. So this would have been apt, but there is a false breakout here. So I have to accommodate the false breakout in my trend line, ठीक है? तो अगर मैं इसको accommodate करूंगा, तो अगर आप देख रहे हो ये week ये breakout हो रहा है. So now मुझे ये possibility लगता है कि this could go back, test this and then fall, but that is disastrous. If that happens, that'll be crazy, right? So this could come till maybe here because that's my last touch point, all right? Or if this is a false breakout, then maybe it opens. So if I have to draw, it opens like higher next week and kind of makes this a false breakout as well. All right. एक तो ये है. Now, the second thing is, because I want more touch points in my trend line, I can see there is something here as well. You know, so I've got 1, 2, this is not touching and third touching point here as well. So क्योंकि मुझे बैंक निफ्टी में वैसा दिख रहा है, again it is not relevant to connect both the indices, but since I can see more touch points here and it kind of works, then I could draw this and wait for a breakout here as well. Okay, yeah, pull back and breakout as well. जैसे मैंने बोला, अगर breakout होता है, then this could be this looks to be very bad for our indices. Then we come to the daily chart. Now again, daily chart में मेरा ये already बना हुआ है. You can see this, that's my support line. That was broken by a gap down, test हुआ and then it fell. So that was a trade that we got on a Wednesday. It was a beautiful trade if you've not already entered here. यहाँ पे भी gaps अगर हम use करते हैं, gap up, this was gap up, gap down, gap test, bearish engulfing, again test and fell. So yes, it makes a lot of sense, and when you're drawing your lines, to draw them correctly with more touch points so that you understand जहाँ अगर जब ज़्यादा touch points होते हैं, वो ये suggest करता है कि वहाँ वो line ज़्यादा important है, ठीक है? Anyway, so coming back to this, now if you can see, unlike Bank Nifty, I've got my maybe something like that. I've got a support line here, like this is a zone. Okay, so I'm not saying this is going to come and fall here. I don't know. This is at support. You can see अभी भी 1130 है and Nifty is correcting a wee bit. आपको ये wick दिख रहा है. But then is it going to come back, pull back, or is it just a, you know, correction, intraday correction? I don't know yet. I think मेरा ये plan maybe next week के लिए है. Monday कैसे खुलेगा, that will dictate what's going to happen. Now, when you're on a daily chart of anything like Nifty, then you see you can also draw trending lines here. Okay, you can also draw trend lines here whenever you see fit. So for example, I can draw one from here. A lot of touch points. There's a breakout test. Of course, this is the news day, and then it goes above here. So जभी भी, like for example here, even here, right? Let me choose my trend line. Let me see if I can draw them properly. So something like this, because lot of touch points and then fell, breakout, gave you a trade. So and from resistance, so मेरा resistance जो weekly chart पे बना है वो तो बना हुआ है, वहाँ से गिरा था, इसको तोड़ा and then fell. So you need to understand how to draw them properly, and I'll show it to you on few stocks as well. But for now, after this, same thing, hourly chart जाएंगे. यहाँ पे आप देखो, same thing, gap down, gap test, fell. So as long as you know where your lines are, it becomes easier for you to take positions. Conviction ज़्यादा रहता है. And then of course you can plot your CPR. जैसे मैंने बताया, go to that's my monthly CPR. So CPR के नीचे खुला, gap down, tuck, and S2. right? And similarly WCPR, right? S2 के नीचे गया था. If you've not seen, I've tested Bank Nifty and Bank Nifty on certain rules of CPR. उसका भी एक पूरा वीडियो है, आप प्लीज जाके देखो, आपको समझ आएगा वो रूल्स कैसा है, एंड देन अप्लाई इट टू दिस चार्ट एंड देन सी वेदर इट वर्क्स और नॉट फॉर यू. ऑलराइट, कमिंग बैक टू daily chart. So that is how you should draw your lines. Now if you're someone who is using 15-minute chart, right, then these lines probably won't matter much to you. Then what you need to do is you need to go to like a daily chart and then draw lines, or you should go to an hourly chart and then draw lines, and then go to a 15-minute chart. So for example, this is going to show you, for example, recently we had this on an hourly chart, right? Now if I go to a 15-minute chart now, I could have taken a trade here which fell, tested, and then fell with a gap down. So on a 15-minute chart, this line works for me, right? This breakout works for me. So I can take a trade here, on a retest here, on a retest here, and the best trade would be after a gap down here. Gap down, gap test, and then fall. Okay, now let's go to another stock and try doing this so that you understand it's not only for index. You can do it with any stock possibly that's out there. So let's start with I can show you Indus Towers. Okay, so Indus Towers, you can see there was a resistance already here. There's a engulfing bear here. So you just need a follow through, which basically means this here was a false breakout. Okay, I don't have a diagonal line as such right now here. The trend is not like that, but I do have a support line, but that is too far and it is too much of prediction that that need not be done. Anyway, going to a daily chart, here is where we can draw diagonal lines, right? So it started here. See how beautiful that is. Now if you're someone who's bearish on Indus Towers, or you know that you want to sell, this line is a must. So if it breaks out, then that is your signal that yes, I'm going to try and take short position. So when you go to an hourly chart, right, so you can see there's a breakout, but that happened earlier as well. So I can probably draw this and then use a breakout of this to take a trade, or maybe a pullback and then gap down open or something like that. Or maybe it doesn't happen like that. Maybe यहाँ से बढ़ जाएगा and this is just a false breakout on a daily chart. Okay, so this is how you do your analysis. I'm doing it live on the chart to show you how this is happening. Right? Let's take another stock. IndusInd Bank. All right, that's beautiful. Okay, let me remove these horizontal lines very quickly so that I can show you what's happened. So this is a weekly chart. You can see if I'm zooming out, this is my post-COVID rally. Excuse me, sorry about this. Okay, breakout, right? I'll draw this again. Breakout, test, breakout, there's a gap down. So now this gap starts acting as a resistance for me. Okay, so either it's exhausted on the upside or it starts acting as resistance. So this is what happened: gap test, and this. Now I've got a diagonal line here to understand whether it's going to be a deeper fall or it's just going to correct from here. So when I come to a daily chart, right, you can see this, right? Let me zoom in. Right, okay, sorry. Right, so I can draw this. Okay, and because I'm ready to take a selling position, once the gap is tested, a per candle, and I have a gap down, a new gap down. If I can change the color very quickly to orange, a new gap down, you see, test, and this on a Wednesday was a trade on the downside. Okay, and this diagonal line I've drawn to see whether it breaches it or does it respect it. So again, as I said, we are not here to predict, we are here to react. So we're gonna see if it's breaching, then we're gonna short sell. If it's not breaching and it's gonna take support from here, then we're gonna take trades on the corrective side. Hourly chart, right? Same thing here. Look at this gap test and doji. When the low break, I would be happy to sell here. Okay, This is how I'm doing for every stock. For every stock that I'm opening in front of you is the same process. So if I go back to RBL Bank, right? Okay, let's do this one last stock. So you see RBL Bank, beautiful. Started here, September 16, that's your bottom. That's a support breakout, acts as resistance, which is change in polarity. Comes back, acts as support, goes back, acts as resistance, comes back. And this time it has broken the resistance, right? Now the point here is it going to fall, go up? So I'm going to try and see if I have a diagonal line. I don't. On a weekly chart, I only have this where it fell from, right? I could have drawn that on a daily chart also. Now when I come to a daily chart, right? When I come to a daily chart, you can see how beautiful that is. I have a resistance. I would like to sell. Let me remove this. And it's coming. Now I know that one, I have a support line here as well, right? That's my neckline. I call it a neckline. Or it can probably go from here, or it can probably come and test this. It can come and test this. And once it tests this, it can go higher. Okay, if it tests this, then it can go higher from here, or it's it'll breach this, whatever. But that will be my plan for this particular stock. Okay, this is how you draw lines. Now let's open Oro Pharma. All right, Oro Pharma, you see here again my plan: resistance broken, change in polarity, gone up, came back, support, and there is a trend line here which broke. Now on a daily, when I go to a daily chart, like if I remove this here, you see, right? Beautiful, turning around. Now if I go to a daily chart here, I can see that I could probably draw a resistance line here, right? It was taking daily resistance and it broke out. So my plan would be, the best thing for this to happen is come and test this and then go up. If that happens, I'm in. If it gives me a follow through using CPR on an hourly chart, I'm in. Okay, so that would be my plan, to wait or to use the CPR to get in next time. All right, same thing with Glenmark Pharma. I think all of you noticed this also went higher. So let's go to the weekly chart first, right? So weekly chart, if I remove all my drawings, weekly chart had this. Okay, I still don't have a diagonal line. I mean, there's no point in drawing a diagonal line, so I'm not doing one. And I also knew that last time it came to this level, so that could be my target, right? Now when I open a daily chart, you see, okay, my drawing is not synced, but I'll draw it again here. Okay, that's my target. So that was a gap up, huge gap up, came back down, tuck. I got trade here somewhere, and then it went up. Now you could go to a smaller time frame and also draw this, okay, which is a head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulder, right? So this could probably come here and then reverse back for a target of an inverse head and shoulder. That could happen, but then again we have to wait. Okay, so if I go to an hourly chart, I have to wait for this to come here, do something, give me some kind of an information signal or whatever, and then turn around, then I'll act accordingly. Okay, but if I'm sticking to weekly and daily for now, just to show you how lines are drawn, this is how it's drawn. I could probably see if I can draw like something like that as well, but maybe start my touch point from here to here, but only 2 touch points. So maybe I don't want to do this right now because it's not needed. Alright guys, so that's about it. That's what I wanted to share with you, that whatever you're doing, if you're drawing your resistance lines, if you're drawing your diagonal lines properly, you'll be fine. And then of course plot your CPR. I've made a lot of videos on CPR and gaps and everything that you need to take positions in equities. Do not treat any of this as tips, because my purpose was not to show you what is going to happen with a particular stock or Nifty or Bank Nifty. My purpose was to show you how to draw the lines properly and take positions with confidence and conviction. Alright, thank you very much guys. We're coming up with the batch on April 18th. If you're interested, just DM. Let me know what you want me to make a video on, and I'll make a video on that particular topic. I'll make a video on something that I do myself and not just random knowledge. All right, thank you very much. I'll see you again very, very soon. Till then, take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.